The Senzo Meyiwa murder trial continues today, and back on the stand for cross-examination is Meyiwa's childhood best friend, Tumelo Madlala. Well, the defense in the case has accused Madlala of being evasive in his answers. Another interesting development, though, in the story is that a lawyer representing Meyiwa's then-girlfriend, Tumelo, has been denied access to court documents. eNCA Slindelo Masikane has been covering this story for us, and she joins us now to give us an update. And Slee, quite an interesting day in court just yesterday. Tell us more about this request by Tumelo's lawyer, more specifically.
Yeah, a very interesting day yesterday when we resumed the November sitting of the Senzo Meyiwa murder trial, and court proceedings essentially began with a letter that Judge Chifu Mamela referred to, saying that he had received this letter but had not gone through it because he wanted to make sure that counsel had also received that letter. And we took about a 20-minute adjournment where we saw counsel in a meeting with the judge in terms of discussing this letter from Magdalene Winsami, who had written to the court saying that she is requesting access back inside on a watch brief for her client, Tumelo, who we know that in this particular trial, in relation to docket 636, she is a victim and she is one of those who was in the house when Meyiwa was shot and killed. But we know that she's an alleged suspect in another docket, that's docket 375, and her lawyer in this letter was actually requesting that she have court transcripts in this particular matter. She was also requesting access and to have sight of the two dockets in this matter. So we saw some vehement objection really coming not only from the state but the defense counsel as well. In particular, Advocate Zandile Mshololo for accused number 5, telling the court that this request was essentially quite bizarre, saying that it would prejudice her client as well as the other accused, also saying that it would compromise the trial in itself, saying that the matter is already being live streamed. It's being broadcast, so the lawyer, Magdalene, does have access in terms of watching the proceedings, but her request to have, documents and to be allowed back in court is certainly an overreach in this matter. The state equally also saying the same thing, as well as Titi Tobane for accused 1 to 4, saying that Magdalene, in her request, was actually being quite unethical.
And Slee, what came out of a cross-examination?
So we then continued, Tumelo, with cross-examination after that letter was dealt with, and we saw Titi Tobane once more just scrutinizing the evidence and the testimony of Tumelo Madlala, the state's third witness, one of those who was in the house and who was also Meyiwa's best friend. But he's really been going into the details around the dock identification. We know that in the last sitting in September, Madlala pointed out accused number 2, Bongani Ndanzi, as one of the 2 intruders who was in the house on that evening. Tobane questioning why all of a sudden Madlala could point out Ndanzi in a dock identification, but when investigators were looking for information when it came to a sketch of the intruders, Madlala was one of those who actually could not describe the 2 intruders. So it seems that Tobane is trying to show the court that that dock identification cannot actually, no weight really can be put on it, and trying to discredit Madlala as a witness by also questioning the fact that some of the testimony in court does not corroborate what he said in several of his statements.
And with that being said, Slee, what can we expect in court today?
Well, in court today, we're expecting cross-examination to continue from Titi Tobane for accused 1 to 4, but at some point we are expecting him to wrap up, and then we'll hear from Advocate Zandile Mshololo for accused number 5. She will begin with her cross-examination. We don't know how long she intends to spend with Madlala, but of course we know that this particular sitting in November is set down for 3 weeks. There's speculation that perhaps Madlala will wrap up this week, and so the question then is who will be the state's next witness. But for now, we will continue with cross-examination. Court proceedings will begin at around 10 a.m. this morning, and of course we will be bringing you those visuals live.
All right, thank you so much, Slindelo Masikane. We'll be sure, of course, to come back to you as soon as those other developments do occur. Outside court for us for the Senzo Meyiwa murder trial.